Hey there guys, welcome back to ARTFX Studios and you're watching bass design number 5. In bass design number 4 I talked about how to create the patch for the Neuro kinda bass sound. The patch sounds like this. And in today's video I want to go and process this a little bit further, add some effects, and I'm gonna map these effects to the macro knobs in the instrument rack. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to add right now is I'm gonna add a saturator. So I'm gonna put that right after the EQ. I'm gonna give it a little bit of drive. So things become a little bit louder now. I'm also going to turn on soft clipping, which is basically just going to add a little bit more of digital distortion. Definitely helps to make the sound a little bit more gritty. Sounds pretty good. The cool thing about the saturator is, and let me close down the EQ and the glue, and massive as well. The cool thing about the saturator is when you click this little triangle button right here, it opens up, and what you get a whole bunch of new options. Those options only become available as soon as you set the mode for the distortion, for the saturator, to the wave shaper. So now it's actually just a saturator. It's saturating the bass sound and it's adding harmonics, while the wave shaper is a totally different kind of distortion. So let's see what we can do. Okay, so let's connect the depth to our morph knob. Let's see what that does. I can open up the mapping mode and let's map the other depth knob to the macro one as well. So that just created a whole bunch of additional modulation going on. I can show you the before and after. We're getting a little bit more grit, more distortion, and more modulation as well. I'm also going to bring down the dry wet a little bit, because I don't want this to be that obvious. I just want to have a little bit more grit and a little bit more modulation. That sounds good. Next thing I'm gonna do is let's add a phaser. So we're gonna take the phaser device, drop it after the saturator. From itself it does this. Sounds okay. I'm gonna map the frequency to macro 1. Which does that. It doesn't really sound the way I want it, so I'm gonna go into the mapping mode. And I'm gonna find the phaser, which is this one. Let's bring the minimum value up a little bit. That sounds good. And I'm gonna bring the maximum value down a lot. So that's what we're getting. Let's go out of mapping mode for a moment. I can change the amount of poles to 6 or more if I want to. What it's gonna do, it's gonna make the phasing effect a lot more obvious. So when I bring this to 6, you can really hear that phasing kind of sound. So another really cool thing you can do is you can color the phaser by using this slider. Now all the way down you get this, and all the way up you get this. So that's definitely a difference. Let's map this to macro 1 as well. And I'm gonna go into the mapping mode again. And let's bring the maximum value down a little bit. I can also invert the range. And what I now want to do is I'm going to take the dry wet and I'm going to bring it down a lot. So that's adding a little bit more movement, a little bit more wideness, stereo width, because the phaser is actually also creating some stereo things going on. So that's definitely useful. There's one more device that works pretty much in the same way, and I'm going to use it in the same way as well, which is the flanger. I'm going to throw that after the phaser. And from itself, you're getting a really high amount of feedback, as you can see. And that will most likely not make it sound really good, as I said. I'm going to bring that down to somewhere around the lower left corner of this XY box. And let's put it around somewhere here. So just a tiny bit of delay and a slow feedback. Let's map this one to macro 1 as well. We're getting something that sounds pretty decent already. I'm also going to map the feedback to macro 1. Let's go into the mapping mode. I'm going to bring the delay time down a little bit. I don't want it to go all the way up. And for the feedback, I want it to start a little bit higher. Let's see, the minimum value can go down a little bit. Maximum value. Let's bring that down a little bit as well. I'm also going to bring the maximum feedback amount down a lot. So we're getting a little bit more phasing going on right now. One thing I'm going to map to macro 1 is the dry wet of the flanger. So what we're getting now is that at the lowest position in our automation lane, we don't get any flanging going on. And as soon as this modulation goes up, we get a little bit of that flanger mixed in. And right here, and especially on this part, the flanging effect is going to be really obvious. Listen. So it's great. It's creating an interesting kind of thing. And what I could also do to get even more modulation going on, I can take that LFO and let's just bring the phase down a little. And in the mapping mode, let's see, what can I do? I'm gonna map the rate of the flanger to macro 1. And in here I'm gonna change the timing of it. Let's make it go from something really slow to something more faster. That's maybe too fast. And I'm gonna bring the dry wet down a little bit, so we're not getting a fully flanged signal. Maybe a little bit less. Yeah, that sounds pretty decent. Can go out of mapping mode again. And let's see, what do we got more? I'm gonna add a chorus device after the flanger, with a pretty slow rate and a low amount. Creates that. I'm gonna bring the dry wet down almost entirely. That sounds good. I'm gonna map this to macro 1. Go into the mapping mode. The lowest position is gonna be 10%. And the highest position is going to be 35%, something like that. I don't want too much going on. That's even too high. Let's bring this to 20. Okay, that's good. I can play around with the order of these effects as well. For instance, I can place the chorus in front of the saturator. Sounds pretty good, actually. And I can do the same with the phaser and the flanger. For instance, I can place the flanger right after the massive. I like that. The thing with this is that the order of effects is really, really important. Because right now you're going massive, the output of massive is going right through the flanger, which is then EQ'd, and that signal is being fed through the chorus. If I would put this flanger after the chorus, what you get is the output of massive is going to be EQ'd, then fed into the chorus, and that signal, what comes out of the chorus, is then flanged by the flanger. So the order of effects is really, really important in how the final sound is going to come out. And you should really think about how it interacts and affects your sound in terms of where you put your effects. It's really all about trying out and experimenting with it. Yeah, so I've now actually showed you how to create some more movement using flangers, phasers, and chorus effects. It was a little bit of a short bass design video this time. The next one, I'm gonna go into vowel-like processing. We're gonna do some more weird kind of processing next week. Most of the things that I'm gonna do next week are gonna be involving vocoders, frequency shifters, and resonators. These three effects all create really different kind of sounds, and I really want to show you what they do and how you can use them to create really interesting stuff, and how you can actually make them work with the modulation lane that we've already got. And it's definitely going to make it sound a lot better and a lot different, and it's going to make, well, a lot of different kind of effects. It's just, you know, you need to understand it. You need to see it to understand what's going on and what I mean. But yeah, I hope you liked this video, even though it was a little bit short. Next bass design video is going to be released, I think, Monday or Sunday. One of the two, I don't know yet. I think Monday. Tuesday is going to be another tutorial Tuesday about the glitch hop season. And yeah, other than that, if you have any questions, then please post them in a comment below. Or if your question requires an in-depth answer, please come to my website, register there for an account, and post your question on the forum. So I can really, you know, go in-depth and maybe make some screenshots and help you out with your problems. If you have any music and you want to get some feedback on it, I've also got a special category on my forum for posting your music. I don't reply to everybody. I only reply if I think I have some valuable feedback to submit to you. If it's, for instance, a genre that I don't even produce myself or that I absolutely don't like, I will most likely not give you feedback, because that won't give me a neutral position to give a good opinion about it. If I, however, really think I have something valuable to say to you, I will do so and I will respond. VIP members on my website can actually request a feedback session on the forum. As soon as you become a VIP member, you get access to the VIP forum, and on that VIP forum category, you can request an in-depth feedback session on your music, where I'm gonna sit down with you and talk about the whole track, what I think sounded good, what I would have improved, or what I would have changed, or I'll give you some points and tips and tricks to how to do that and how to make this track even better. So yeah, if you want that, if you like to do that, then please come to my website, have a look around, and I'll hope to see you there soon. If you want to see more of these videos, then please subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna do a lot more in the upcoming weeks, and I hope you have a nice day. Peace.